Good morning, everyone. I'm going to start changing the channel just a little bit, and while walking is the biggest part of my life right now, by the way, today is day 865, walking 5 miles every day at age 67. I'm going to throw some nuggets out there that I'm being prompted to do so by family, especially my wife. She thinks I need to share some of the experiences I've learned over nearly over 40 years of sales. And not only can these help salespeople, but they can also help with any kind of negotiation, with any kind of conflict, and pretty much anything you go for in life. I mean, these little nuggets will help. And again, I want to make the channel multi-dimensional, not just solely about walking, although walking is important. So we're going to start today with something I learned a long time ago, right out of college. I got my first sales job with Nabisco, and I learned this very, very quickly. Be willing to be willing to do things that other people just will not do. Here's an example. Back in 1989, I went to work for Nabisco, and they brought me in as an extra sales rep, sent me to Virginia, and I bounced around all over the place as an extra sales rep. And a year later, they promoted me to sales rep in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So we moved to Fayetteville. That's where our first daughter, Brittany, was born. And they would give me a number. This was before laptop computers, by the way. They would give me a number each month to hit. And the first couple of months, I would hit that number just because the man that I replaced had been with the company for 40 years. He was on his way out. He knew he was on his way out. So he was just coasting. But it really wasn't all that hard to hit the numbers. But I said, there's got to be a better way. Well, I didn't even have a computer. I didn't have nothing at that time. But my father, a mechanical engineer, he had a computer at home. So I reached out to him and I said, look, I want you to build me a form. And on that form, I said, I want a spot for my monthly number. And then I want to break down all my accounts, because I had the same accounts rotating every month that I would see, some every 2 weeks. And I would break down every one of my accounts as a percent to the total. So let's just say, I didn't have any Walmarts at the time, but let's just say I had a Walmart Supercenter that contributed 8% of my total number for the month. Based on history, I would put it at the top, and then I would come on down all the way down to the little smaller mom and pops that might contribute, 1%, 0.5%, whatever it may be. So we created this form so that when I walked into a store, all this can be done electronically now, but when I would walk into a store, I would know exactly what I needed to sell in order to maximize my number. Not only did I want to hit my number, I wanted to maximize it on bonus potential, make as much money as I can. That's just the guy I've always been. And lo and behold, it worked. Because it's not hard to leave back stock in a store with Nabisco, because it's sales. You just got to make sure you put it up. Don't go hiding it everywhere. But anyway, well, that got me noticed real quick. We also had a contest at that time, and there was a drug chain out back in the day called Farmore. It was like a Walmart, but it was a pharmacy. Huge stores. And we had a contest for dozens versus the previous year. And the store manager wanted to win that contest because it was a trip to the Biltmore house. And he really wanted to take his family to the Biltmore house. I said, okay. Well, it was dozens versus previous year, which is not hard, but you have to think smart about it. Well, back in the day, the little box of Barnum's animal crackers came 2 dozen to a case. So you could get twice the bang for the buck if you ordered those. And he agreed with that. So we took one of those big cages, like you throw the balls in the top and they come out the bottom. We took one of those and wrapped it in fishnet all the way to the ceiling, and then winged Barnum's animal cracker towers on each side of it, stacked them. So I think there were 3 Barnum's animal crackers staggered going up the side of the thing on each side. It was cool looking. Wish I'd taken a picture of it. But we ordered 1,000 cases, which was 2,000 dozen. And we blew the numbers out the roof. I mean, my boss is going, what in the world did you do? He actually came down there and helped me build the thing. The moral of this story, that got me noticed. Not long after that, I got a call to go to Charlotte and interview for an account manager job, which was the next logical progression from sales rep. Usually sales rep, account manager, sales manager. So I flew into Charlotte, had the interview, left. Not long after that, I got another call. They wanted me in Atlanta to interview again. So I get off the plane and I see one of the guys that was there interviewing for the account manager job. He looked at me and I looked at him like, what in the heck is going on here? So I went in and I'll never forget it. I had to interview with 3 different people, very intense interviews, and left. Not long after that, I got a call that they were promoting me to sales manager, skipping account manager totally. That's what the other guy was interviewing for. And I replaced the sales manager in Virginia that had brought me on just about a year and a half earlier. So that story isn't to brag, because the ending didn't work out the way it should have. But that's because of me. That's another story for another day. But the point is, with anything in life, whether it be a sales job, a job, school, walking, interacting with people, whatever it may be willing to do the things that other people just won't do. And just because other people won't do it doesn't mean they're bad people. It's just not all of us are wired the same way. Not all of us have the same goals and dreams and aspirations. Me, I'm out here selling now, and if I sell 25 accounts in a week, I'm gonna do my best to sell 26 next week. That's just me. And I think that's what keeps me young. Nobody thinks I'm 67 by the way I look, by the way I act, and I don't feel 67. I really don't. I have to often think, wow, I was born in 1958. So keep all that in mind as you go through your days. And again, you don't have to be ambitious to do this. This can affect every aspect of your life. It can affect relationships. It can affect how you interact with other people. Again, job, whatever. It's just to have the mindset that, okay, this is the way it's been done. What if I swerve over here and try it this way? What's the worst that can happen? And I'll leave you with this story. A couple of weeks ago, I walked into a convenience store to sell my ice cream, thinking that it was where my GPS had taken me, but I went to the wrong store. There were 2 stores basically in the same parking lot. I went to the wrong one. And lady was real nice, very interested, didn't pull the trigger. So I went back to the other one, which was not as quite as nice a store as the other one. I think that's probably why I went to the other one first. Again, same parking lot. And the owner, very interested. But he said, if you go over there, meaning the other store, I won't buy. And I didn't even blink, and I'm never really prepared for this answer. It's like these videos. This just comes out. It just comes out of me. I don't think about it, I just do it. I looked at him, I said, I completely understand. I said, but think about it for a second. You have Coke and Pepsi in here, correct? Yes. Do you think they have Coke and Pepsi in there next door? Yes. I said, I would be willing to bet that 90% of the stuff in her store, you have in your store, right? He said, yes. I said, you still interested? I said, because I can't give exclusives, especially since I've already talked to him. And he said, let me think about it. I said, fine. Because I've sort of got the mindset now that if somebody needs to think about it, let them think about it. I am not that hardcore push salesman. I'm just not, and never will be. A day later, he calls me, said, sign me up. He's got the freezer sitting in his store right now, and he's selling ice cream. And the other store never called me back, which I will swing back by there one day and talk to him. But that's it for today, folks. Just think about that. Do something different. Be that person in your job that steps outside the box, that thinks differently, that does things differently, and watch what happens. If you've always wanted to be promoted, but you feel like you're being looked over, it might be your fault. It could very well be your fault that, you know, you're just blending in. Separate yourself from the pack and watch what happens. Y'all have a great day. Peace.